Problem people. It's basically to understand that people are deliberately conditioning one another. Problem people is equal to the four negative person and negative games people play. So we will begin the negative games people play or the problem people, or the four negative squared, as opposed to being square, which means you're being totally positive. So problem people use the 10 negatives as we had discussed before. Number 1 is hate. Number 2 is anger. Number 3 is arguing. Number 4 is control. Number 5 is fear. Number 6 is confusion. Number 7 is lying. Number 8 is pride. Number 9 is depression. And number 10 is lust. Now, again, you have all these negatives, like I said, that's like the art of war, but bigger than the art of war. So I just want to take you through the basic 10 negatives, because through the basic negatives, you understand how everything else works. So how everything else is tied together. And so if you're a problem person, you're more likely to fit into society easier. But if you're a solution-oriented person, they may consider you also some sort of, I guess, a holy criminal is one way to put it. I really don't know how to say it, because you can come up with all kinds of inventions that can run on water or run on air or whatever, and create a better environment and a better system, but all of a sudden now you're considered a criminal. So because you're a solution-oriented person, and then they would classify you as schizophrenic or some sort of craziness, crazy title, and ostracize you, and then send in their flying monkeys. And I guess some people will say, oh, well, that's ridiculous. But when you start recording them, you can say, well, what part of it is ridiculous, so I can show you. And then when you show them, they'll be like, oh, no, that didn't happen. That's not true. Blah, 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 blah. You can see this everywhere. The evidence is clear. But the people in the hierarchy have to follow that negative system, because without it, it destroys their system that enables them to take from everyone else what's your God-given right or God-given gift to live in peace and enjoy, or in love, or in whichever way you feel like is appropriate to you, but also to sustaining that energy within yourself and within all of us, and which is either growth or death. But apparently, for some reason, death had seemed to win out with a few people who conspired the system in order to control the many. But once you understand the system, it tends to fall apart, because the end conclusion is that everyone loses, even themselves. Number 1, again, we're going to these the 10 negative hate, and we'll explain it. Like I just said, it's hate, anger, arguing, control, fear, confusion, lying, pride, depression, and lust. Okay, so we'll move on, and so you can understand the basic system. And again, when you're hearing all of this, please be calm. Don't go out there thinking you know everything yet. Wait till the full instruction. Then when you're done and you understand everything clearly, then you're free to move on, because there's a lot of things that you will need to do, especially if you're looking to live the system in which you will benefit from, or continue to be deceived and be alive but be dead. So you could either be alive and dead, or alive and alive, and it's your choice in which how you want to live and how you want to feel. So number 1 is hate. Hate is an intense hostility. It's an extreme dislike. It's loathing. Number 2 is anger. Anger is an overwhelming negative emotion that could lead into hurting others physically or verbally if not controlled. Number 3 is arguing. Arguing is a disagreement without resolution by one person or one group or both persons in both groups to give reasons of opposites of what is first projected. So they can argue logically or illogically for an objective that's either truthful or dishonest for negative ends of coveting. Number 4 is control, is the ability to restrain by self or others, to direct and have influence by self or others over your physical and or psychological being by having the ability to act or produce an end effect that one may want or not want or need or not need, such as in money, food, shelter, imprisonment, torture, death, and so on. Number 5 is fear. Fear is an unpleasant and often strong emotion to flee that is caused by an anticipation of pain or displeasure or impending danger. So fear is a thought of the future, of anticipating pain. So although you're living and you can only live in the present, the fear is a thought into a procedure of not living in the present. And worry is akin to fear, but it's actually in the present, and when you're constantly thinking of the same thing over and over again, like anxiety. Number 6 is confusion. Confusion is to bring to ruin, to disturb in mind or in purpose, to make indistinct, to make unclear, to mix indiscriminately. And number 7 is lying, is making a suggestion or statement that is not true. Number 8 is pride. Pride is conceit, exultant, a sense that one is better than others, that one is more deserving than others. Number 9 is depression. It's a state of feeling repetitively and redundantly sad in the present. And number 10 is lust. It's an extreme, intense desire of want. Okay. Now we're going to go into just explaining these 10. Number 1, hate. There are many reasons why people hate. And it could be that they were taught to hate since birth. It could be that they were constantly being provoked by others as having a troubled childhood. It could be that they hate because others hate, so like for like. And the list goes on and on. Negative people who do hate are hypocritical and will want to do unto others what they would never want to done or said about themselves. But hate is merely a choice. And when people's thoughts are negative, it then creates negative emotions and negative energy. Negative energy is what they project when they hate, and that energy is not from a positive source, but from a negative one. The opposite of hate is love. And I have heard many definitions of love. But the best definition of love, and is best defined as the total sum of all positives. So in other words, love is caring, love is sharing, love is honest, love is patient, love is calm, love is peaceful, love is joyful, joyous, love is kindness, and so on, etc. of all positives. Some may say that there are different kinds of love, but that's not true. It's simply love, and that some may even confuse lust for love. So that it's embedded in our language as defined love as sex, but they are not the same. But how you love your daughter and how you love your father and your mother, your wife, and so on, we do all in the same way, with kindness, with sharing, and the total sum of all positive. But your wife, you will unite with as one in the joining of two physical beings. But even this sacred event has been abused by so many people. Knowing how to love others is very important for not only your well-being, but for others, because love is give and share, not give and take. As hate is. Love is a very beautiful thing. But as a general rule, it is best to not be obsessed about someone, for love is not obsessive. And that love that you give another may be used against you. So when you love, do so for both your heart and your mind, because sometimes Cupid's arrow flies through the wings of darkness. There are those who may try to use your love against you, and what you had believed was true love was nothing more than extreme lust. But if you are wise, you will distinguish the two. Do not be fooled into hating other people simply because others hate. This is often a tactic used to divide and conquer. Hate itself is self-defeating, because when you hate, you are also controlled by the person or thing that you hate. That becomes your master. People who hate spread lies and rumors, causing trouble wherever they may go, and usually caused by their own negative self-being. So they go around provoking, instigating, hurting others because they hurt themselves, and so on. When you hate, you lose sight of love, becoming hateful and negative. For if you do hate without even knowing yourself, you treat your children and your family and everyone around you with hate. Now, having hate is subjective to the positive and negative, because hate has a very nasty boomerang effect. So you may win now, but in the end, you've lost. Love, on the other hand, has the opposite effect. You may lose now, but in the end, you will always win. There is a kind of way of doing things that there is a cruel way of doing things, like hate, and it will cloud your judgment. It overruns you because it's a form of bondage and slavery to this energy that does not allow clarity, but it will also confuse wrong as right and right as wrong. When you hate, you are willing to make others suffer for what you believe in, as opposed to love, that you are willing to sacrifice yourself so that others may see the light. When people hate you and despise you and know that it's not a reflection on you when you are loving and follow the way, so it is not of you, and not let these negative energy destroy you. Instead, be loving and calm, be patient, have hope, be at peace, be happy, be joyous, and you will be able to overcome any depression, any hatred, any sadness. But any hatred in particular. Okay, that was hatred. Number 2, we're going into anger. Anger essentially is to control your anger, or it will control you. Know that anger can build into rage. That is why it is crucial for you to learn to manage and understand anger. Be aware that anger can be projected, and that anger can also have a boomerang effect, as in anger, extreme anger may also turn into fear, because it is following the negative way, so it moves from anger to fear. Some people stay in anger, and they also feel fear and don't know why, and not knowing how they are directly related. It is okay to be angry. It is not okay to react to someone who is projecting anger. People often provoke others to control. Know that your first impulse may be to hurt someone, and that's how it controls you, because you think that that's your decision to hurt someone in return, when in reality it was their negative luring you and deceiving you and controlling you so that now you can hurt them. Or some people use that so that hate could turn into fear, the anger could turn into the fear. This will mean that you are nothing more than a puppet who is easily manipulated. So if I know you're angry all the time, or you get angry, if I catch you on the street, I can easily control you or provoke you. And as soon as you provoke you, you come into your fight stance, and then I put the camera on you, and then I beat the living daylights out of you, and then say, yeah, this guy was provoking me, or this guy, it was self-defense. He was attacking me. Everybody seen he was attacking me, but not showing the time that you had provoked the other person. So when someone's provoking you, don't fall into their game. They don't control you. That's simply their behavior projecting what they feel inside. So when someone projects anger and you accept it without the control of anger, it will make you easily to be set up. But someone who has a control of self could never justify the evil that they inflicted on anyone, because it was a self-fulfilling prophecy of death or injury by the one who was projecting that anger or hatred. You can choose to understand that someone else's anger is their anger. Although they share the energy with you, it is a shared anger and it is their anger. And most people don't understand that concept, because then they'll think, oh, I'm angry, but it wasn't your anger. It was their anger that was shared upon you, projected onto you. Also, in biblical terms, this is called casting evil spirits onto other people to control, or projecting this negative energy, this shaitan energy. It's up to you if you want to accept that negative gift that they're giving. If you accept it, then you're like, okay, it's on. But only death to you and the person you kill is the end conclusion, unless by God's mercy, you're still alive before you die, and you understand and correct your structure. There is a cornucopia of different solutions that anyone could come up with. Whether they are positive or negative is entirely up to you. You could choose to react in a joking manner when someone projects negative on you, or you could choose to project in an angry manner. You could also choose in a depressed manner, like, oh, that's cold, I don't believe you said that to me. And people do that even when you're trying to help them out. So you need to know that evil people are going to project negative regardless of what you project. That's already in their playbook. That's their structure. That's their being. That's who they are. So they're projecting confusion and fear, or in a fearful manner, a prideful manner, a joyful manner, a loving manner. You can react in any way: a nonsensical manner, a sensible manner, an outraged manner, or just ignore them altogether. The list goes on, depending on what direction you want to go, what's your construct, and how you want to end it. And again, what's your objective, procedure, and schedule? You may not have time to be talking to somebody at that particular point. So you can agree to disagree. You can inform the other person how concerned you are. But when someone is angry, there's usually an underlying problem. If it is at all possible, see if there's a solution that may alleviate the anger. You can use them or not use them. Sometimes the solution is to separate from another individual if the other person is determined to project anger with hurt. Again, it's okay to be angry, but not okay when anger turns into hurting others physically or verbally, or even mentally. which is an issue of great concern. Sometimes anger will go into arguing, and then from arguing into hurting. You may already have a solution in case hitting should take place. Now, you don't have to stay there and take it. That's total ignorance, taking an abuse. Although sometimes, you can't